In 11 minutes. Aubrey Hayes will lose the only job keeping her family fed. She doesn't know that yet. Right now, she only sees a woman swaying at the end of her checkout line, eyes rolling back like a phone about to die. "Ma'am, you gotta keep the line moving," a shopper snapped. "I'm sorry," the woman whispered. "Everything's spinning. I can't feel my hands." Someone behind her muttered, "Is she drunk this early?" Aubrey was already around the counter. People at Register 2 thought they knew exactly who Aubrey Hayes was. 23 years old. Cheap sneakers. Name tag crooked. Just another tired cashier scanning cereal boxes until her shift ended. Nobody in that store, not the shoppers, not her manager, not even the old woman folding to the floor, knew that 2 years ago Aubrey had been 3 semesters from a nursing degree with a 3.8 GPA. Nobody knew she could read a crashing blood sugar the way other people read a text message. That mistake, misjudging her, was about to cost the store more than they realized. Somebody near the magazine rack pulled out a phone to film it. Another shopper sighed loud enough for the whole store to hear. Aubrey didn't look at either of them. "Ma'am, hey, I've got you. I'm right here." Aubrey knelt on the dirty tile in her work polo. "When did you eat last?" "Yesterday, I think." "Nadia, orange juice, small bottle now." Her coworker froze at the next register. "Aubrey, your line's backing up. Trevor's watching the cameras." "Then let him watch." She pressed the cold bottle into the woman's shaking hands. "Small sips. Slow. There you go. I'm so sorry I'm holding everyone up. They can wait." Aubrey's voice didn't shake once. "You can't. What's your name?" "Odell. Odell Ashford." "I'm not going to forget that name." She didn't know yet that the name would come back and rewrite her whole life. She just knew a woman needed 9 minutes of her attention, and 9 minutes felt cheap compared to a stranger's heartbeat stopping in aisle 4. She was wrong about how cheap it would actually cost her. "Aubrey, my office." Now, her manager Trevor didn't sit down. That was never a good sign. "Trevor," that woman almost collapsed. Her sugar crashed. "I've seen it 100. I don't care about her blood sugar. You abandoned your register for 25 minutes during a Saturday rush." She could have died. She could have sued us. "You're not a paramedic, Aubrey. You're a cashier." I gave her juice and sat with her. "That's not." While you played hero, lane 3 sat empty. Nadia had to cover 2 registers alone. We got 6 complaints. And somebody walked a full cart out the front door because nobody was watching the floor. Aubrey's stomach dropped. "So this is about the stolen groceries." Trevor slid a folded paper across the desk. "This is a termination notice. Effective today. Not even a suspension. 3 years, Trevor. Not one write-up in 3 years. And in 1 afternoon, you cost this store more than you saved it in 3. A woman almost died on your floor, and that's a cost to you? Corporate's been writing me about shrinkage all quarter. If I don't show numbers by Monday, they replace me. I've got 2 kids and a mortgage. I can't absorb this. At least your kids still have a dad with options." The words left her mouth before she could stop them. "What am I supposed to tell my son?" "I'm sorry, Aubrey. I mean that." "Yeah." She pulled off her name tag and set it on his desk like a knife. "Everybody's sorry." The apartment smelled like her grandmother's soup, the slow one, the one that only came out on bad days, like her grandmother's body already knew before Aubrey said a word. "Mom? Why are you home early?" "Hey, baby. Go finish your homework." 8-year-old Mason didn't move. "You've got that face. Like the day you got the call about Dad." "I'm fine, Mason." "You're not. You came in quiet. You don't come in quiet unless something broke." Silence. Then, quietly, "I got fired." "For what?" "For helping an old woman who almost passed out at checkout. Her sugar crashed, just like what happens to you sometimes, Grandma." Her grandmother, Odessa, didn't even look up from the pot. "Of course you couldn't just stand there. You're my granddaughter. And now I'm your granddaughter with no job, no savings, and Mason's school fees due in 2 weeks. We'll figure it out. Always do." "I'm so tired of figuring it out, Grandma. I'm 1 phone call away from losing everything, every single month." Odessa turned off the stove. The kitchen went quiet in a way that felt heavier than any shouting. "Your mother, God rest her, once gave her last $20 to a stranger at a bus stop. I was furious. We needed that for groceries." "Grandma, I've heard this story." "Then hear it again." She looked at me and said, "Mama, if I can't help somebody when I've got $20, what makes you think I'll help when I've got 20,000? The amount don't matter. The person you are when nobody's watching." That's what matters. Mama ended up homeless, Grandma. Your mama ended up with a daughter who saves strangers on grocery store floors. That ain't nothing. Across town, in a penthouse office with glass walls, Odell Ashford was fighting a battle of her own. Mom, your sugar hit 42. Do you understand how close that is to a coma? But I didn't go into a coma, Preston, because someone happened to be there. Not someone. A young cashier. She knew what was happening before I did. Her son, CEO of Ashford Dynamics, rubbed his temples. You have a driver. A personal shopper. Why were you even at a grocery store? Because I wanted to pick my own tomatoes. I'm old, not dead. What's her name? I'll send flowers. A gift card. Sydney, make a note. Preston David Ashford. Sit down and listen. He sat. That girl didn't help me for a gift card. She helped me because she couldn't look away. Okay. And while they wheeled me out, I heard her manager screaming at her. He fired her, Preston, right there on the floor. He fired her for helping you? She saved my life, and they tore hers apart for it. Odell's voice cracked. I want you to find her. To do what? To ask what she needs. Not what you think she needs. What she actually needs. 3 days later, a woman in a tailored coat stood on Aubrey's cracked front porch. Are you Aubrey Hayes? Depends who's asking. Sydney Cole. I work for Preston Ashford. His mother is Odell Ashford, the woman you helped at Fresh Value last week. Aubrey's chest tightened. Is she okay? She's fine. Thanks to you. Mr. Ashford would like to meet you. Ashford. Like Ashford Dynamics. That Ashford. Aubrey almost laughed. The lady I sat with on a grocery store floor is worth billions? That $1.39 bottle of orange juice, Sydney said, is exactly why I'm standing on your porch. The lobby alone was bigger than Aubrey's entire apartment building. Aubrey, thanks for coming in. Your lobby's bigger than my whole block, just so you know. Preston almost smiled. My mother says you saved her life. I gave her juice and sat with her. That's not saving a life. That's just paying attention. Most people don't pay attention. My grandmother's been diabetic since I was 12. You either learn the signs or you learn the hard way. I also know you were fired for it. Aubrey's jaw tightened. The store had their reasons. I left my register. Someone stole a cart of groceries. I get it. You're being remarkably fair about people who threw you away. Oh, I'm furious. Her voice stayed flat. I just don't have the luxury of showing it. Furious doesn't pay rent. So what do you need, Aubrey? Really need? I didn't help your mother for a reward. That's not what I asked. A door opened. Odell walked in, steadier than the last time Aubrey had seen her. She told me you almost became a nurse, Odell said. Aubrey stiffened. 2 years at Ridgeline Nursing Program. 3.8 GPA. Then my son came, my mom passed, and loans don't wait for grief. I dropped out. Got a job at Fresh Value. That was 5 years ago. What if you go back? Go back. The Ashford Foundation runs a healthcare scholarship. Full tuition, books, a living stipend. I'm not offering you money, Aubrey. I'm offering you the thing you gave up. I can't accept that. Why not? Because I'm 23 with an 8-year-old and a grandmother who needs me home by 6. I can't just walk back into school like I've got nothing to lose. Odell stepped closer. I watched you check my pulse that day. You counted out loud to keep me calm. You didn't learn that from a cashier training manual. I learned it before I had to leave. So here's my question. If money's the only thing standing between you and that degree, it's not just money. Then what? The room went silent. Aubrey's voice dropped almost to nothing. Fear. I'm scared I'll go back and fail. I'm scared I'll be the oldest person in every class. That my son will think I chose school over him. That I'll get close to what I want and life will yank it away again, like it always does. Odell's eyes didn't blink. Good. Scared means it still matters to you. Let me get this straight, Nadia said over the phone that night. The juice lady is a billionaire's mother? Yeah. And they want to pay for your whole nursing degree. Full ride. And you said no? I said I'd think about it. Aubrey Denise Hayes. Don't full name me. You have prayed every single night for 5 years. Lord, show me a way back. And he showed you. And you told him you'd think about it. That night, Mason climbed onto the couch beside her. Mom, are you going back to school? Maybe, baby. It's complicated. If you're a nurse, can you be my nurse when I'm sick? That's not really how it works, sweetie. But you'd have the badge and everything. Yeah, a real nurse. Then go. I'll be fine. Grandma makes good soup. Out of the mouths of babes. I'll do it. Aubrey told Preston the next morning. But I have conditions. Go ahead. No special treatment. Same classes. Same tests. Same rotations. If I fail on my own. Nobody calls the dean for me. Done. And I keep working part-time. I need my own money. Mason needs to see his mama still puts in work, not living off somebody's charity. We have flexible part-time positions at the foundation. Real work. Not a made-up title, so I feel good about signing a check. You're making it very hard for a billionaire to be generous. Good. This was the choice that couldn't be undone. The moment she signed the acceptance letter, she was walking away from the safety of low expectations, from the version of herself nobody could blame for staying small. There was no version of this where she could quietly slip back to the register if it got too hard. She had told the world she was doing this. Now she had to. Nursing school chewed her up in ways she hadn't remembered. Aubrey, right? Scholarship girl. That's me. My mom went back at 35. Became a physical therapist at 40. She says the second time around, you don't waste a single minute. Your mom sounds smart. She reminds us loudly every Thanksgiving. Want to study together? Oh, Kim is destroying me. It's destroying me too. Let's be destroyed together. The girl held out her hand. Reagan. At 2 a.m., her phone buzzed. Grandma, you up? I'm always up. What time is it? A little after 2. I just finished my pharmacology paper. Are you eating? I had a granola bar. That's not food, Aubrey. I got a 93 on my anatomy midterm. I know. You told me twice. Tell me again anyway. 93. Your granddaddy failed anatomy 3 times because he was studying to be a butcher, not a nurse. That's not the same thing, Grandma. I know. I just like hearing you laugh at 2 in the morning. You don't laugh enough. Sometimes I think I'm gonna mess all this up. You've been scared since the day you were born, Aubrey. Came out screaming louder than any baby in that hospital. Doctor said, this one's got something to say. A pause, warm and certain. You always had something to say. You just needed somebody to listen. Back at Fresh Value, Aubrey ran into Nadia in the parking lot, scrubs still on from clinical. Aubrey, oh my, look at you. Scrubs and everything. How's the store? Same. Worse, actually. Corporate found out what happened with you. Trevor's been on edge ever since. I never asked anyone to look into it. You didn't have to. Nadia's face changed. I gotta say something. The day Trevor fired you, I just stood there. I didn't open my mouth. This was the betrayal Aubrey had buried without naming it. The friend who watched her get walked out and said nothing, because saying something cost too much. You had your own job to protect, Aubrey said quietly. That's what I keep telling myself. It sounds more like an excuse every time I say it. It is an excuse, but it's also real. You've got Kiara to feed. You would have spoken up if it were me. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Aubrey's voice softened. But you can start now. That's all any of us can do. There's a new cashier. Paige. Young, kind of lost. Reminds me of you. Then be for her what you wish you'd been for me. Yeah. Nadia wiped her eyes fast, like she was embarrassed to let them fall. That's enough? Just be better for the next one. That's more than enough, Nadia. That's all any of us can actually do. Top of your class, I hear, Odell said one afternoon, sitting across from her at a small cafe. Close. There's a girl named Reagan who's got me by half a point. Annoyingly brilliant. I like her already. Odell studied her face. How are you, really? Tired. Grateful. Terrified. Pick any 3. All 3 at once. That's how you know it matters. Odell, can I ask you something? Why me? There are millions of people who need a chance. Because you didn't calculate. What do you mean? I've been wealthy for 40 years. I've watched people treat kindness like a transaction. If I help her, what's my return? You didn't think. You didn't weigh the cost. You just moved toward me. Anybody would have done that. No. Odell's eyes were steady. Most people move away from trouble. You move toward it. In my experience, those are the only people worth betting on. 2 years passed in fluorescent hallways and coffee-stained textbooks. I had a patient today, Aubrey told her grandmother one night. Elderly woman, post-op. Everyone kept rushing past her room. And she grabbed my wrist and said, thank you for listening. That's it. Just, thank you for listening. I almost lost it right there. Why'd that hit you so hard? Because all I did was sit with her. I didn't fix anything, didn't cure anything. I just listened. When did that become so rare that people thank you for it? It was always rare, baby. You just see it clearer now. Graduation day. Cap and gown. Name called. Applause rolling like thunder. Odell, you came? Third row, left side. Odell held out a small gift bag. Open it. Inside, a single bottle of orange juice. $1.39, Odell said. Same brand, same size. This is where it started, Aubrey. You remembered the exact brand? I remember everything about that day. Your hands were shaking, but your voice was perfectly steady. You told the whole line. They can wait. You can't. Nobody had said anything like that to me in years. You would have done the same. I hope so. Odell's smile flickered. But hope and action are different things. You chose action. Mom, you're a nurse for real now? For real. So when I'm sick, you take care of me? Official. Baby, I always took care of you. That was true before the badge. Yeah, but now you got the badge. Lord, this boy. Grandma, Aubrey said one evening. Preston offered me a position, running the nursing staff at a new clinic over in East Side. Odessa's spoon paused over the pot. East Side, our old neighborhood. Free health care, diabetes management, primary care, mental health, everything. He wants me to lead it. Lead it. I told him I'm not ready. I just graduated. Aubrey. Her grandmother set the spoon down. You weren't ready to raise Mason alone. Did it anyway. Weren't ready to go back to school at 23. Did it anyway. Weren't ready to sit on a cold grocery store floor with a dying stranger. Did it anyway. Grandma, when are you going to stop waiting to feel ready and just trust that you already are? When do you become a motivational speaker? When my granddaughter started needing one every other Tuesday. This was the twist nobody in that grocery store line ever saw coming. Not the shoppers who thought Aubrey was just holding up the checkout. Not Trevor who thought he was cutting a loss. Not even Aubrey herself in the moment she knelt on that dirty tile floor. The woman they judged as a slow, careless cashier was the only person in that building who knew exactly how to save a stranger's life. And the manager who fired her for it had unknowingly fired the person who would go on to run an entire community clinic 2 years later. Everyone in that store had the story backward. The girl who cost them money was the only one who understood what anything was actually worth. The East Side Community Health Clinic opens its doors today, the local anchor said into the camera. Free primary care, diabetes management, and mental health services for every person who walks in. Leading the nursing team is someone who, 2 years ago, was ringing up groceries at a register, someone who lost her job for doing what anyone should do, but almost nobody actually does. Aubrey Hayes. Aubrey stepped up to the small podium, hands trembling despite the badge on her chest. I'm not going to pretend I'm not terrified standing here. I am. Every new thing in my life, I've been terrified. But 2 years ago, I learned something on a grocery store floor. The thing you're most afraid to do is usually the thing you need to do the most. I was afraid to leave my register that day. Afraid to help a stranger when I knew it could cost me. Afraid to go back to school. Afraid to stand right here, right now. But I did every single one of those things. And I'm still standing. She looked out at the small crowd. So if you're out there scared, and doing the right thing feels like it costs too much, do it anyway. It costs less than you think. A girl stepped forward from the crowd, maybe 16, arms crossed tight like she was holding herself together. Excuse me, are you the head nurse? I am. I'm Aubrey. What's your name? Naomi. Hey, Naomi. You here for yourself? My grandma. She's diabetic. She won't come in, says she can't afford it. I keep telling her it's free, but she doesn't believe anything's really free. Bring her in. Aubrey's voice didn't waver. No bill. Not today, not ever. But why? You don't even know us. Aubrey looked past the girl, past the clinic doors, all the way back to a checkout line that had almost broken her. Because someone I didn't know once stopped for me when everyone else walked past. And I promised myself that day I would never be the one who kept walking. Naomi's eyes filled up. Go get your grandma, Aubrey said softly. We're not going anywhere. The girl ran. Aubrey watched her go, one hand pressed flat against her own chest, right over the badge, right over the name tag she'd once set down on a manager's desk like it meant nothing. It had meant everything. It just took the whole world 2 years to notice.